All right, what up? Exodus 16. We're only going to do verse 4 and 5. So it's going to be quick, but kind of got a testimony that I'm going to add at the end, so make it rather quick. Verse 4. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain quota every day, that I may test them, whether they will walk in my law or not. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily." All right. So this is kind of what I got from this. This is going to take me like 2 minutes. Basically, when it says, "Then the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you." To me, that means I will bring Jesus from heaven for you. People should go out and gather mercy and grace from me every day. And we'll see if they will walk with Jesus or not. "Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you. I will rain Jesus for you. And the people shall go out and gather a certain quota every day. And the people shall go out and gather mercy and grace every day, whether they will walk in my law or not." They will receive mercy and grace every day, whether they walk with Jesus or not. Because, let's be honest, when he says my law, none of us can live up to the 10 Commandments, the law. But Jesus did. So by being connected to Jesus, whether they walk in Jesus or not. And on the 6th day, they should gather double. Right, that's what it says. "And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily." So they did that because on the Sabbath, you weren't allowed to prepare anything. So the day before the Sabbath, they would gather double, prepare it, and then eat it on the Sabbath. So this is what it means to me. On the 6th day, they should gather double. It's kind of like going to church. You get double portion that day. Instead, a lot of us make that the only portion we gather for the entire week. Right? Some of us don't gather our mercy and our grace and seek and walk with Jesus on a daily basis. We go on Sunday and try to gather our portion. And that's the day where you should be getting a double portion. But sometimes that's the only portion we try to gather, is on Sundays. And it's no wonder we're starving, thirsty, fatigued, broken, bitter, angry, no peace, no joy, no life, no excitement, no fervor. Gather your manna. Gather your grace and mercy. Walk with Christ daily. Eat the bread daily. And on Sunday, get yourself a double portion. Don't make it the only day that you eat and drink from the bread of life and the fountain of living water. You'll be broken and busted up. See, 4 minutes. Now I got a story for you, because I don't know if this rings true for anybody else, but there's just some mornings that I guess some mornings where I'm just thinking. I mean, I call it prayer, where I'm just sitting alone in the silence and seeking God and thinking, taking inventory of my life and taking account of my life. And I couldn't help but to think of how many times I've come home broken. And see, I was bawling this morning, so I'm trying not to cry. How many times I've been broken battered, hopeless, depressed, no life, no hope, shattered, in pain, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, in every avenue of my life. And my wife put the pieces back together, inflated me, breathed hope back into me. I mean, obviously alongside with God, they did this. But man, I'm so thankful. And I started to think about the times when, because when we were younger, we dated for a while, but then I started to do the wrong thing, so our paths kind of went a separate way. And then when I got out of jail and got saved, our paths connected. But in between those times, and in between relationships, we would run into each other and we would talk and hang out and basically pick up where we left off. It's like we never lost any time together when we'd run into each other. And many times we would talk about dating and getting back together, but I couldn't do it because I didn't feel like I was worthy enough, because my life was still wrecked. My life was still a mess, and I didn't want to put that on her. So I opted out and said, no, I can't do it. And I mean, obviously I didn't give her the reasons for it, but that was the reason, was I didn't feel worthy enough. I didn't feel like I was good enough because of all the things that I was doing. And so that led me to think about that day on that park bench that I talked about, when she knew, because she was already questioning me. She knew something was wrong. She knew I was doing something. She knew that I had relapsed. She could tell. And she would ask me, and of course I would deny. That's how I grew up. That was my thought process. You just deny everything until they can prove it. Because I've seen so many times in court or with my friends or other people that it would seem like a setup to me, like you tell me the truth and we'll go easy on you. But then they then they would tell the truth and they would get the same punishment they got as if they didn't tell the truth. If they just made them figure it out for themselves, they get the same treatment. You know what I mean? It would end the same. So I would have this mindset of just deny, because if I tell the truth, then it's just gonna end the same. She's just gonna, you know what I mean? So in my mind, because remember, at this point I'd already left God, because I already thought, well, God already knows everything about me. He knows I messed up. That relationship's over, so there's no hope. So my only hope that I was clinging to was my wife and my family. That I still had them. I still had that. And I thought, man, if I tell her and I'm honest with her, she's gonna leave. And then what's gonna happen to me? What's gonna happen to my kids? What's gonna happen to my house? Where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? So I just deny. But that day on that park bench, if she would have said what she said that day on that bench, when she said, I know you're going through something. What'd she say? No matter what, I'm not leaving. But I know you're going through something. You just got to be honest so I can help you. And if she would have said that 2 months earlier, 3 months earlier, she wouldn't have said it at that time, at that place, at that moment, in that way, I would have denied it. I would have denied it. But because God was working on my heart in the midst of that, and because God was teaching me about his agape love in that exact moment, in those exact months leading up to that encounter, I trusted her. Because remember, listen, this is one thing I never said, is when we got married, that was the one stipulation. Like, you know, for better, for worse, yada, yada, yada. But it was, if you relapse, if you start, I'm done, I can't do it. I got to take care of I got to look out for me and my family. So in the back of my mind, that's what I thought was going to happen. If I'm honest, she's gone. She's out. And then where does that leave basically my boys? Where does that leave them? That was my mind. I mean, that was what I cared about the most. So that day, though, because God was teaching me and God was starting to, between her and God, they were starting to give me hope. I trusted that I'm going to be honest and see what happens. And she didn't leave. She stayed. picked up the pieces, gave me hope, breathed life back into me, stuck by her word, and loved me unconditionally no matter what, with that agape love in which God loves us with. But if it would have been any other time even, God's timing is immaculate. Because I would have denied. Because like I said, I just always thought that's what happens. If I tell the truth, she's going to leave. It's going to be like almost like, aha, I got you. Now you're honest. Now I'm leaving. You know what I mean? So in my mind, it was a lose-lose. To be honest, I just kept thinking I just could get myself out of it. I just got to figure it out, and I got to get it together. But I trusted her in that moment because God was working on me, and she was staying connected to God, and she allowed God to use her in that moment, and her love for me over my entire life spoke volumes to the fact that I could trust what she was saying, even though my whole life I was taught the opposite or experienced the opposite. Yeah, amazing stuff. So just I was brought to tears this morning with gratitude for my wife, for holding it all together, holding me together. Gosh, guys, gotta find that. Guys gotta first get connected to God. Find yourself somebody that loves you unconditionally, because it makes a world of difference. I honestly believe that that's the difference between me and a lot of people that I've known that have went to prison or have died. That people loved me unconditionally, no matter what. And without these people, without my wife, and without the people that God placed in my life and surrounded me with, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have survived. I'd be dead or in prison. And who knows where my kids would be. Who knows? So today, I'm extremely grateful for the people that God placed in my life. And his timing is insane. Timing. I can't help but to always look back and see how God orchestrated everything and placed people in my life at the right time, at the right moment when I needed them the most. So those that have loved me unconditionally, I salute you. I give you your roses. I appreciate you. And I'm super thankful for you. Every single one of you. I'm not going to name them all because the list is awfully long, but you know who you are. You know I'm talking to the people that have loved me no matter what over the years since I was young. That just didn't love me when it was all going good, but loved me at my very worst. Man. Thank you. And especially to my wife. Thank you. I love you. And I want to publicly say that. I want to publicly give you your roses. I can write you tons of letters, tons of poems. I can tell you to your face. But I need everybody to know how important she is to me. She was the raft in which God used to save me when I was drowning. Over and over and over and over again. The glue that held everything together. And I can't help but to think that if I would have just agreed to be in that relationship when I was younger, instead of looking at how ignorant I was, if I would have just received the gift that God gave me and Bridget back then, how much my life could have been different. But it happened the way it happened for a reason. And God's going to do great things with it. Thank y'all for listening. I'm out.